Hey, I'm Coach Janice Washington.
Hey, I'm Coach Trinese Fox, and welcome to On the Record.
Anytime you can win at home in front of your home crowd is a great feeling. After the last two games against Jacksonville, obviously, most important to protect your own home court. So, a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the sweep. However, being able to at least split with Jacksonville, who's in the lead, and contain their momentum of being able to kind of stretch out their lead in front of us is really important.
Right, like you said, Coach, the bounce back was amazing to see for, the players and how they handled that game too. So it was a great weekend.
Yeah, I think that's what happens with any team sport. Players have to be ready for their number to be called. And in our games this past weekend, we certainly had people to step up. I think Sahara Jones is probably the first name that comes to mind with regards to just filling a much needed role of a rebounder and just a defensive wizard out there, just doing what she can to get deflections, rebounding against bigger players. So she's the first name that comes to mind. But yeah, we want a team of players that has a next person up mentality.
Yeah, I think the entire team did a good job just being ready and staying ready when their name was called for whatever role that we needed and whatever the team needed. It was good to see. I was excited to see her. She's getting more and more comfortable on the floor on both sides of the ball. She's in a really good rhythm, really good flow. So I was super excited to kind of see her, see the hard work pay off. She works hard. She does the extra work, watches film, really studies the game of basketball. So really enjoyed seeing her being rewarded for that.
Yeah, the translation for just from practice and off court to on court has been big, and it's really been showing up in a big way with her being able to be named player of the game these last couple of weekends that we've played. But she's certainly somebody that the word was is definitely comfortable. She's beginning to get more and more comfortable within our systems, both offensively and defensively, and she's getting more comfortable with the role that we want for her, which is to be that knockdown shooter and to have people defend you in multiple different aspects. And so she is just really starting to really chip at the iceberg in terms of the skill set that she has and the versatility that she's able to showcase. It's always good to get contributions from the entire lineup. This past weekend we played all 9 players that were available to us, and everybody was able to contribute in different manners. The greatest thing, especially for players, like they want to see points, they want to see statistics on that stat sheet, and so to have so many players in double figures speaks to how much they were sharing the ball, how much they are really starting to believe in each other and believe what everyone else is capable of on the court. We've got a lot of weapons, and so being able to just have them start to step up and step into those roles is something that's big for us.
I completely agree, and like I said, it's just good to see. We just talked about Jessica Timmons being comfortable. I think the whole team is getting comfortable with our system, both offensively and defensively. And like Coach said, that chemistry is building and the trust is building, from top to bottom.
Yeah, I think chemistry takes a while for any group, regardless of the talent level. I believe that their basketball IQ will help facilitate the ease of the transition within the group. And so watching them within the last handful of practices, Jalen and Sasha, seeing them become more comfortable, and then the other additions, watching them in practice, their ability to be vocal and to communicate easily helps with their ability to, just fit in with what's happening.
Yeah, and the additions that we do bring in, I think the team that we have now are doing a really good job of like helping them come along too. So outside of them asking me and Coach questions, the team steps up and helps them as much as possible, which shows that they all want to make it work. So it's good to see.
It's different. At the time that we lost a couple of our starters, we knew we needed to add on some point guard play and things of that nature. And then we also knew that we needed to add rebounders and bigs in. Our roster size is very limited, and so the players that we do bring in have to be players that can do a multitude of things. They can't just be just one-dimensional. They can't be one-dimensional. So our ability to look at our depth chart from a recruiting standpoint and the players that are available to us is so important, to just bring in players that not only can be versatile and do a lot of different things, but also players that are going to fit with the scheme of play that we're playing, the style of play. They want to play fast, they want to play defense, and they want to win, and they are accustomed to winning, and they have a winner's mentality about how they approach this.
Right. That's the biggest thing, like Coach said, just being winners, being around winners, knowing what that looks like, knowing what it sounds like, knowing what it feels like. And that's the biggest thing that we look for. We talk about it all the time, how to get better, how to elevate, and complement what we already have as well.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to being matched up and seeing a different team. We've played Jacksonville a handful of times now. However, Charlotte looks totally different than what they looked like the first time we played them, with a couple of new starters in their rotation, a bunch of new players coming in as reserves off the bench. And so it's going to be exciting because we also look very different than what we looked like the first time that we played Charlotte.
Right, I'm excited. The goal is to go, 3-0. So making sure that they're ready, making sure that we're ready. We're definitely excited.
Yeah.
Game days are always exciting.
No, just, the goal of every week is to sweep the week, and to be able to play a couple more games at home is very important, not just to the standings, but for the confidence level of the team as we move forward and have this 8-day road trip with, a ton of road games coming up. So being able to get comfortable, build chemistry, and get some wins under our belt before we take this road trip, long road trip, is going to be big. But go Groove.